Programming. Hi, everybody. I am so excited that today is the third day of National Black Child Development Week. If you could just put hello in the chat and where you are um, watching us from, we would love to acknowledge and recognize you. I am super grateful to be here today, and we have a really, really great read aloud that we're getting ready to do. But I want to give everybody a chance to share on your social media, to share on Facebook. If you are watching us on Facebook Live, take a moment to please just share so that we can make sure everybody gets access to this wonderful information. Welcome to the third day of National Black Child Development Week. This is a week where we celebrate the amazing work of NBCDI. As you all know, I am Allyson Jones. I am Vice President of National Partnerships and Community Mobilization. Part of my role at NBCDI is to amplify the wonderful work of our national affiliate network. So if you are an affiliate, please share right now on Facebook and let folks know you're a part of this amazing movement. Also, if you could put in the chat what affiliate you are representing, again, we would love to see that you're here with us. Across the country, NBCDI affiliates are participating in activities and efforts that embolden and empower Black families. And this week especially, they have some exciting events and initiatives and efforts that are happening and going forth. So I just wanted to take a few moments to honor them. And you will be able to see more of what their NBCDW celebrations are looking like on our social media later in the week. Just a little housekeeping, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and then of course, follow us on Instagram so that you can stay in the loop about what's going on with NBCDI. We've got some exciting stuff that's getting ready to happen. So in addition to NBCDW, soon you will see news about our 50th anniversary virtual conference. That is going to be truly amazing. We want everyone to be able to be engaged with that. So again, follow us, visit our website so that you can have access to all of this amazing information. But for today, I am truly honored to have Abesi Manyando here with me to share her amazing children's book. It is a sweet story, but also points to a movement against bullying and embracing inclusivity and love. And so obviously, I just wanted to invite you to come on camera and unmute so that we can see your lovely face and hear from you. We would love for you to just give a little bit of an introduction of the book, and then of course, reading the excerpts. And then after that, we'll have a conversation. But thank you so much for being here. I'm excited.
Thank you for having me, Allyson. Thank you to NBCDI and all the affiliates. I hope you guys had the chance to read the book. My book, of course, is Jarvais Poe, The Secret Adventures of a Potato. And I guess I could just start. Intro, Harvest Farm. It was a very hot Sunday morning at Harvest Farm. Mrs. Harvest was still sound asleep, but her husband and her daughter Hope were not. Mr. Harvest was outside tending to his crops. Hope Harvest was in her bedroom staring out of the window and into the garden. She was thinking about her grandmother who recently left the farm because she became ill. When she said goodbye, grandmother asked Hope for a special favor. Fruit, vegetables, flowers, and plants are very important to the earth. And to me, her grandmother told her, they are magical. They are our garden bunch. You must look after them for me and protect them. Hope had done exactly this. And whenever she missed her grandmother, Hope went to the garden and found her happiness there. It was very magical indeed. Chapter 1, Everyday Struggle. Mr. Harvest had been waiting for it to rain, but for weeks no rain had come, so he decided to water his crops that early morning. Little did he know that his crops had started their day hours before. Hope was carefully watching them through her window. Jarvais Poe Potato was supposed to be listening to Mrs. Georgia Louise Peach sing her life away during the Sunday choir selection at Garden Green for All Fellowship. Instead, he was daydreaming about what his life would have been like if he hadn't been born a potato. Life had never been easy for Jarvis. As far as he could remember, his entire life had been a struggle. Out of all the fruits and vegetables at Harvest Farm, the potatoes were the smallest group and the least important. Well, at least that's what Jarvis thought. And the past few days had been particularly rough for Jarvis. Jarvis's mind flashed back to Saturday when Mr. Harvest moved in a new family of potatoes. Jarvis's family had been helping them move when Katerina Care's parents walked by with a strawberry family. "Oh my," exclaimed Mrs. Carrot loudly. "It looks like more and more potatoes are moving in." "There goes the neighborhood," complained Mr. Carrot. "Pretty soon we won't even be a respectable looking farm." My, with all the gorgeous strawberries in the world, I can't imagine why Mr. Harvest wastes his time with these funny looking potatoes, snickered Mrs. Strawberry. "They're so dull and drabby. He could have at least picked the ones that are red like us." "Oh, please," said Mrs. Carrot, turning up her noise. "Red, yellow, brown, blue, pale, or purple. A potato is a potato. They just don't fit in with the look of our farm." Mrs. Strawberry and the Carrots didn't even bother whispering. Mr. Strawberry seemed embarrassed by his wife's behavior and kept his head down. The potatoes heard what was said, but they just went about their business and ignored the insults and chatter. But Jarvis couldn't ignore it. He was furious. "Dad, you should have said something," he exclaimed. "There is nothing to say," said his father calmly. "We know who we are. We don't need them to verify our worth." "Vera, what, Dad? I don't get it. It seems like every potato here believes that they really are worthless. We never stand up for ourselves and we're always quiet and forgiving." "That's so weak," shouted Jarvis. "Jarvis, maybe you're the one who believes you're worthless," explained his father. "You're the only one who reacts to this nonsense. All the other potatoes probably know their value. Someone once said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent." "Does inferior mean bad?" asked Jarvis. "No, it means less than," said his father. "You have great value, just like your mother always tells you. You're very powerful, and if you don't believe anything else, believe that. It's a big world out there. Don't ever forget that, no matter where you go." "Oh, okay, said Jarvis. "I get it." Jarvis decided to go find his best friend, Bria Broccoli. He cleaned himself up, changed clothes, and walked over to Bria's stunning broccoli house. He wasn't about to waste a good Saturday feeling down. And everybody loves the broccolis. "I wish I could just leave this farm altogether," he told Bria. "What?" Bria yelled. Bria's mom and dad were reggae musicians, and today the band was practicing in the house. "For the third time, I said I wish I could leave this farm." "Why would you want to do that?" yelled Mrs. Broccoli from the living room, dancing along to the music. Jarvis told Bria's parents what happened with Mrs. Strawberry and the Carrots. "Being a potato is an endless struggle. I wish potatoes could be great like strawberries, broccolis, carrots, mangoes, and all the other fruits and vegetables, just like Mrs. Carrot said." "Oh, young Jarvis, don't worry yourself of the opinion of other produce. One must explore the intent of a person's words, man," said Bria's dad, smiling. "There is a proverb that says, until the lion has its own storyteller, the hunter will always be the hero of the story." Jarvis was more confused than ever. "Lions? Lions? Who said anything about lions?" he thought. "Geez, Bria's house was no place to talk about the future," he concluded. Jarvis and Bria went outside. They hid behind the blades of grass and watched Mr. Harvest load his truck. They often did this on Saturday mornings and wondered where Mr. Harvest went. Jarvis had always wanted to find out, but his parents told him to never leave the farm without them. Jarvis was feeling inquisitive though. The day already started off bad, and he wanted to experience the big world that his father had mentioned. Harvest Farm was in a small town in South Garden. It was 45 minutes away from New Garden. That's where Market City and all the action was. I gotta get out of here. This can't be life, Bria. We should sneak into one of these boxes, suggested Jarvis. But how are we gonna make sure we get back all right? Asked Bria. Oh, I didn't think about that, answered Jarvis. Then they heard Aaliyah Fuji Apple singing. They could hear her voice was coming towards them, but they couldn't see her. It's too bad you guys aren't me, said Aaliyah Apple. Bria and Jarvis could see Hope Harvest's shoes in the grass, but they still couldn't see Aaliyah. When Hope put her bag on the ground, Aaliyah popped out and bowed gracefully like a ballerina. Oh, there you are, said Bria. Hey guys, if you want to see where we're going, you can come with me, said Aaliyah. You'll be safe. Hope takes me everywhere. I'm her favorite fruit. Strawberry is here too. Jarvis felt tense when Aaliyah mentioned her name. Oh gosh, not strawberry, strawberry of all fruits. She was no better than her mother. Still, Jarvis wasted no time hopping inside Hope's bag with Bria. It was nice and comfy. They settled in next to some books, making sure they could see everything. Straw was lying back, sipping water. She looked at Bria and Jarvis when they came inside, and then looked away without saying anything. Have some water too. It will balance you out and keep you healthy, recommended Aaliyah. Thank you, Aaliyah, responded Jarvis, stuttering. He was always a little nervous around Aaliyah and never hung out with her outside of school. It's what I do. My dad is a doctor, so I'm a health expert amongst other things, said Aaliyah. Before she could continue, Straw interrupted. So Jarvis, you know Aaliyah and I are all about that life. First class trips, overseas vacations, parties on foreign farms, cars, planes, yachts, you name it. We've been around the world and back 3 times, bragged Strawberry. We were just in Broccoli City last week with my dad. The city was so lit. It was like a movie. We were jumping on go-karts that turned into jets. We flew all over the city. Oh, really? Questioned Bria, her eyebrows raised. I'll be sure to ask my cousins if they saw you. It was super crowded, Bria, Strawberry snapped. I doubt they did. But yeah, the perks of being a strawberry and an apple are endless. It's the life, I tell you. Aaliyah winked at Jarvis and smiled. Bria looked at Jarvis too. He seemed absolutely mesmerized by their stories. He barely blinked. Bria crossed her arms and ran her hands through her pretty broccoli crown of curls. What did I get myself into? She whispered. Jarvis was listening to Strawberry and Aaliyah's every word. He could only imagine what a different life strawberries and apples lived in comparison to potatoes. Aaliyah talked the whole time like a tour guide, but Jarvis didn't mind. He had never been in a car before, and he liked Aaliyah. She was really smart. Everyone liked her, even though she was a teacher's pet. Aaliyah was Bria's friend, and although he didn't speak much to her after school, she wasn't mean to him like C. Celery in his clip. C. Celery was brutal, and he loved picking on Jarvis and others. He was always trying to impress Ella Eggplant, Katharina Carrot, and his followers. He really bullied Jarvis more than anyone. This was another reason that Jarvis wished he wasn't a potato. Jarvis could tell they arrived somewhere exciting. The car stopped and suddenly they were outside. He saw shoes walking everywhere. It was noisy and crowded. Bria put her hands over her ears. Bria, we're in Market City. Look at all the different fruits and vegetables here, said Aaliyah. Jarvis and Bria stared through Hope's bag. Wow, exclaimed Jarvis, this is incredible. As Hope followed her father through the market, Aaliyah and Strawberry gave Bria and Jarvis a tour of Market City. Wow, fruits and vegetables here live really close together, like on top of each other, said Jarvis. Yeah, the buildings are called skyscrapers, Jarvis. My cousins live in a penthouse over there on 5th Avenue, Aaliyah said, pointing to a street that was filled with luxurious skyscrapers. Jarvis's eyes grew as big as frisbees. He saw that most of the red fruits like strawberries and apples lived in the beautiful square-shaped penthouses. Pineapples lived in spacious houses on the upper pine side by the guavas, coconuts, and bananas. They lived on amazing condos on Tropical Street and 7th Avenue near the oranges. I think my aunt and uncle own that vegan theater on 4th Avenue in Gray, said Bria. Well, my dad knows this rutabaga who bought up a lot of these properties, said Straw Airy. Well, he didn't buy my family's property, snapped Bria. Straw always had to come out on top no matter what, and Bria was getting annoyed. Anyway, Bria, the broccolis, cauliflowers, and Brussels sprouts live around 4th Avenue by the mushrooms. The avenue was a busy art district with multicolored apartment buildings. Some of the broccolis waved at Bria. She could see paintings of her dad for sale on several corners. Bria went from being annoyed to excited. She never allowed anyone to ruin her day or change her character, not even Straw Airy. 4th Avenue was next to Green Street, where the lettuce, kale, and spinach lived in massive lofts designed like ice cubes. Everything seemed to be so much larger than life. It's like a movie, said Jarvais. It makes our farm feel so small. Look over there, guys. Those are probably Cucumber's cousins, Aaliyah laughed as she pointed at a loud group of sour pickles arguing across the street. Don't they look so silly, just like Q? Jarvais looked and smiled a little. He thought he and Bria were the only ones who couldn't stand Cucumber. He and Tommy Tomato were sea celery sidekicks. He often teased Jarvais by saying that he was ugly, yet he was funny looking himself. All of the apartments, condos, and homes were so beautiful in Market City. Everyone's place seemed to be made out of glass or pretty transparent material. This is it, said Aaliyah. I love it, exclaimed Jarvais. I hope one day I get to live here too. And then I'm going to read one more page. Wait a minute, said Bria loudly. Wait one good minute. We didn't see any potatoes. I'm sure Jarvais has some relatives up in here somewhere. Oh, Jarvais, yeah, I almost forgot, said Straw Airy with a strange grin on her face. The potatoes live on the other side of the street. Look. I don't see any penthouses or apartments, said Jarvais, confused. Look lower, urged Straw Airy, over by the abandoned buildings. But that just looks like a bunch of old sacks, said Jarvais. No one can live there. That's exactly where potatoes live. Red potatoes, sweet potatoes, purple potatoes, all potatoes. Right over there, said Straw Airy. Look at the sack building. It even says so. This little abandoned building. Jarvis's smile disappeared and his heart dropped. Straw Airy was right. He wished it wasn't true, but he could see it with his own eyes. Jarvais felt like someone had cut him with a knife. No, this can't be where the potatoes live, he thought. Why would only potatoes live in such a condition, where you couldn't even see their apartments and homes, where they seemed to be overcrowded without an inch of space to move around and run freely like on Harvest Farm? Jarvais looked down, feeling sad and ashamed. But I always heard about the potato district, he said, as he coughed and held back tears. That's where Potato Glow is. It's a really pretty district where a lot of potatoes live. I thought it was somewhere here in Market City. Sorry, but that's not real, said Straw Airy. That's just a story someone made up. Are you sure? Asked Aaliyah. There are lots of districts in Market City. The city has different parts. Yeah, but we've been to every part with hope. It's not a real place, said Straw Airy. I even asked my mom, and she said it wasn't real. When I asked Mrs. Carrot, she said, have you ever learned about this make-believe place in history or geography class? Well, have we? Straw Airy waited for the three of them to answer, but they couldn't because for once she was right. After a minute passed, Aaliyah spoke. But the buildings behind the potato sack buildings look like. Straw Airy cut Aaliyah off. I'm over this, she yelled, fuming with anger. Her face was red. This is where all the potatoes come from and where they live, period. Aaliyah and Bria looked away. The seconds felt like hours to Jarvais as the four of them stood in silence, completely shocked. Then they heard Mr. Harvest's voice. Come on, Hope, why are you standing by this old aisle in a daze? They're renovating over here. Let's go. I'm done. And for more, you guys can get the book if you don't have it. And check it out, because the next one is chapter 2 called It's Gonna Take a Miracle, and you guys can check it out.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this. The illustrations
Welcome.
are absolutely beautiful.
Thank
I feel like the screen share didn't do them justice. So everyone, you have to get the book. You can get it off Amazon. You have to get the book so that you can see those amazing and beautiful
you.
illustrations. Um, Obviously, this seems like a story that parents and caregivers can absolutely use to strike up conversation. Conversation about knowing your worth, about being strong, about being kind and embracing who you are.
Mhm.
So was that the idea? And talk to us a little bit about the journey to writing this book and your background.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. I wanted to do a book that taught young kids about self-regard, and self-love and acceptance. And I'm really big on health. So I said, I'm going to do it about fruits and vegetables so that I can get the kids to engage um, with fruits and vegetables at an early age. You know, if you like brie or broccoli, when you go into the store, you might want to pick, like, mom, get some broccolis, just as a way of preventative, be preventative of diseases that, we get just from not eating healthy. So it was just a combination of that, like self-regard, being healthy, self-acceptance, and then also the dangers of miseducation.
Mhm.
So this book has been a 7-year process, and I really want to shout out my co-illustrator, Fuji Takachi, who has just been so amazing. And I'm an artist, but she took my ideas and concepts to a whole nother level, and she is as equally important in the book. And just through the years, my friends Diamond, Keisha, different people who have kids, because I don't have kids, that really helped out with the book, and just different aspects, and just telling me about issues their kids were having. And I just wanted something that they can relate to in a book that was like, hey, I'm going through this. I might be getting bullied, but I can stand up for myself, and things of that nature.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Tell us about your background. So, before this all happened 7 years ago, what were you doing? What did life look like for you? I think it's really interesting, especially for parents and caregivers, to kind of hear how, this was an evolution, absolutely, into this path and what your background was and what you do now. I think it's nice for people to kind of understand and know that story.
Yeah, I think when I was little, I always wanted to be like a writer and a filmmaker and in creative arts. I'm from Lusaka, Zambia. I was born there, and my family moved here when I was like 5 or 6, and we lived in Brooklyn, New York. And I had the most amazing teachers. That's why the book is dedicated to my teachers and my grandmother, because they gave me an experience that I didn't have at home, just like being an immigrant. They took me on field trips. I think we did like a Sesame Street field trip. They introduced me to the arts, and I didn't know how to speak English. So they really found ways for me to learn English and just communicate with people without knowing how to speak the language. And the arts was that for me. And of course, coming from an immigrant background, you can't say, oh, I want to be a writer, I want to be a filmmaker. It's like your African parents are like, yeah, right. You're going to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, just pick one. And I went to school and, to do pre-med, ended up dropping out of pre-med and just doing business management and marketing. And in that, I never lost my creativity. So I went in to do public relations. And when I was a publicist, I actually used to work with one of the schools in St. Louis. It's called Innovative Concepts Academy. It's Judge Jimmy Edwards is over it. He's a judge who, instead of sentencing the kids to jail and juvenile, he sentences them to this school, and they become brilliant kids. Like, these are problematic kids that he ended up just really making them like some of the most brilliant students. And when I was there was a little kid that was like, I hate who I am. I hate my culture. I hate, I hate my race. And I was like, why? Like, there's so many things for you to be proud of. And he's like, nobody wants to be like me. And I was so taken aback by his self-hatred. And I thought, like, him going to this world with this kind of mentality, you're already going to lose, because if you don't accept yourself, you don't love yourself, how can you expect that from anyone else? And he kind of inspired that. And also I love potatoes and the connotation that, everything with potatoes seems very negative, but we love potatoes, we love fries. It has a rich history. So I was just like, hey, I wonder how potatoes feel, compared to other fruits and vegetables. And so my character ended up being Jarvis Poe, the potato.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. And so I feel like your background has a lot to do with the way the story was written, right? Because,
Yes.
he was getting exposed to things he's never been exposed to and
Mhm.
learning about how people were living just because they looked different or just because they were in a different category, right? It's the
Mhm.
strawberries and everyone was
Yeah.
living a little bit differently. And boy, that resonated for me. And like I said, I think it will strike up conversation, especially for older children, like elementary school, who are beginning to see these kinds of things, beginning to see
Yeah.
what and understand what does it mean to live in a disenfranchised community, right? And so I thought that was
Economics.
yeah, how you were able to make those parallels. What is the biggest message that you will want people to get from this book? I know we didn't finish it, we just heard one chapter, but what's the biggest message that you would want folks to kind
Mm.
of gain from reading this book in its entirety?
Um, for the educators, if you notice, Strawberry said that this potato glow city didn't exist. And her evidence was that Mrs. Carrot said, have we read about this, or have they taught this in school? And the
Mhm.
kids thought about it and they never heard about it in school. And
Mm.
so they believed it to be true because they were miseducated, or it was omitted from their educational curriculum. So miseducation and just making the effort to educate kids outside of the regular curriculum, me being somebody from Zambia, from Africa, coming here, and the ignorance at an all-time high, even as a young child, it was like astonishing to me, because everything we had there or they have here we had, and people used to ask me really ignorant questions. And I think that also is because of the educational institution and the curriculum that omits true accurate history. So for the teachers, it's really being creative with education and inclusion of all cultures, because this isn't just Jarvis being a little brown potato getting bullied because of his color. It's deeper than that. It's intercultural. And the other thing that I really want everyone to get is, and this has helped me throughout just even writing the book, me and the illustrator Fuji, is embrace yourself. Toni Morrison said a quote. She said, like James Baldwin said, you've already been sacrificed for. Your ancestors and the people before you, they've already endured so much. Like now, you can just love yourself, like move forward and accept yourself as you are, even though like the world would try to tell you different, people would try to tell you different, and make you feel bad about different aspects of who you are. It doesn't even matter, because like if you are extraordinary and beautiful and a prize in this world, you
Mhm.
will feel that and see the world in a different aspect. And that's a journey Jarvis has to go through, you
Yeah,
know.
it's amazing. I can't remember who I was talking to, but it was a friend of mine, and we were having a whole discussion just about self worth and self love. And I remember he said to me, don't just be aware of who you are, but celebrate who you are.
Yeah.
Don't just accept who you are, but celebrate who you are. And I feel like that's super important for children to understand at an early age, that, my skin is beautiful, my hair is beautiful, my personality is beautiful, and I'm unique. And all of these, I don't need to be like everyone else.
Mhm.
All of these things about me make me me. And that's a beautiful
Yes.
thing. And I think that, books really help with that. And so that's part of the reason why even yesterday, during National Black Child Development Week, our second day yesterday, we talked about our Read to Succeed program. And, in that program, we're making sure that they're culturally relevant, but also celebratory books that are
Yes.
going out to kids across the nation. I feel that, we always around Black History Month see those Black history icons who we
Mhm.
love and who we appreciate. But it's always important and amazing for kids to be able to look at books and see themselves, see
Yes.
their community, see a parallel with who they are and also the character that's in that story, right?
Mhm.
And so these kinds of books just get me excited. Um, and this book has a storybook feel. So it's almost like you could read a chapter a night.
Mhm.
And then, the next night you guys talk about what happened in that chapter.
Mhm.
What's the likelihood of a series for this?
Oh, actually, I wrote it as a series because there's already a book too.
Okay.
Because you see the broccoli family. For some reason, the kids just really, and I think it's like Bria Broccoli with her, hair, her afro.
Hmm.
They really loved Bria and the broccoli family. So the second book is Bria Broccoli and the Road to Broccoli City. Because this book, and there's like people in the chats, I don't know if they have questions, but I'll keep it short. There's just a play on different things like, global warming, um, just different messages here, of course, race and other things. And the second one goes deeper into that, global warming and how we treat the environment and earth and,
Wow.
the consequences of that, also about greed and, wanting, the there's a price to pay for overconsumption,
Right.
and
Right.
we do so much and then we're killing the earth, and so the second book touches on that. So you
Awesome.
guys have to check
Wow. Lots of
that
different topics covered.
out.
So we do have a question. Can you talk to us a little bit about how important it is for us, assuming our community, to support and promote Black authors?
Oh God, it's so important because we don't always get the avenues. And I'm a publicist myself, so I see this even pitching different clients. Like, sometimes it's easier to pitch certain people on CNN and on Ellen. Of course, we're still dealing with race issues, so we don't get the same opportunities as some of the other authors. So just the community support and you guys sharing and you know creating the movement, that helps a lot of us authors because you can't deny support from the community.
Yeah. Another question is, if I'm a mom and I want to get started with writing a children's book, how do I start and what does the process look like?
Um, well, for me, um, I just write my thoughts and then I don't try to be perfect. I just write my thoughts, and that's in all my writing. I free write it out, my ideas. And then after I organize my thoughts and break down like chapters and things of that nature. And then obviously you have to have an illustrator. And it took me a while to find my perfect illustrator. And when I found Fuji, I knew that there was no one else for me because the illustrations obviously are a huge part of the book and are just as important as the story. So just getting those things together is like a good start. And then I self-published on Amazon.
Great.
So yeah.
That's a great tip as well. So sounds like, mom, whoever you are, that it's really important to get your thoughts written out. Under what is the meaning of this story going to be? Outline that and just begin writing. And then it also sounds like another key is finding a really great illustrator, um, and that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of this, and thank you so much for sharing this work of art with us.
Thank you for
All
having
of our affiliates, you all got copies of this book. I hope you all enjoy it as you share it with families. Let us know your feedback so we can share that feedback with Abesi. And we are committed to continuing to support and promote Black authors and illustrators. We know that this is important for us to be able to support this so that our kids can have access to really amazing stories that reflect who they are and celebrate who they are. So thank you again for this. Um, I am really looking forward to the rest of the week so that on social media, you guys can be watching to see what some of our network affiliate leaders have been doing to celebrate NBCDW in their markets and in their communities. Um, Thank you again. Obviously, you all please go online and purchase this amazing book. If we could get the cover on the screen, that would be amazing. I know we have some great event producers that are working with us, so I'm sure they can put the cover on the screen so that everyone can remember the book, and you all can pick that up on Amazon. And again, please follow NBCDI on all of our social media. This is important because again, we have different events that will be coming up. We really want to make sure that you all are able to engage with us in that way. And soon we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary through a virtual conference, October 14th and 15th. And so you'll see more news about that in the coming days. Thanks again, Abesi, and thank
Thank you.
all of you for joining us. You all have a wonderful afternoon.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.